In the beginning of the story, we see a beautiful but dangerous pond at a deserted place. The color of the water was black and the name of this pond was Blackwater. Immediately after, we see a family, which had 3 people. A girl whose name was Grace and her husband and younger sister. To spend these 3 holidays, they were going to a crocodile park where there were a lot of crocodiles. After a while, they reach here. They see that a lot of people have come here and are feeding the crocodiles. Everyone who came there was seeing this scene. Along with that, these 3 were also having a lot of fun in the park. Then at night, these people go to a hotel. Here they were talking about what is the plan for tomorrow, i.e. where to go tomorrow. After that, they decide that there is a pond a little far from here, Blackwater. We will go there. We will go there and catch fish. This was the same pond that we saw a while ago. But the next day, these people reach there. Now it is shown that this pond is very big, which is spread far and wide. There were a lot of trees around because it was a forest. Here they meet a man who had a boat. He was the guide here, who would help them in their journey. Now after a while, he takes these people to catch fish. The guide tells that here is my boss who has taken another family to travel. And I also have a gun that can be useful in an emergency when in trouble. Because there are a lot of crocodiles here. But here we know from Grace and her sister's talks that Grace is going to have a baby. But she has not told this to her husband yet. Because she was waiting for the right time. While these people were in the boat, they were enjoying the scenery around. All of them were looking very beautiful. They also take pictures there. While they were coming out quite far, they stop at one place and start catching fish. But they can't catch any fish. So the guide takes them further ahead, where Grace's husband starts catching fish again. And this time a fish gets stuck in his rope, which makes them very happy. But then suddenly their boat shakes violently. And immediately it turns over. Because of which everyone falls into the water. Because actually there was no fish in their rope, but a crocodile was stuck. And that's why they hit their boat. Grace's husband says in fear, "Hurry up, climb the tree." And he climbs the tree in fear. But when he starts climbing his sister, he does not find her. That's why he starts looking for her. Then Grace sees the crocodile there, which was taking the body of the guide. It meant that the crocodile had killed their guide. Now Grace was very scared. Because that crocodile was coming towards her husband. She immediately screams and tells him to climb the tree. So he does this, immediately climbs the tree. Now we see that their boat was upside down. Grace's sister Lee was hidden under it. She comes out of the water. So that crocodile was now moving towards Lee. Seeing which Grace quickly tells him to get on the boat. Now as soon as Lee gets on the boat, the crocodile comes there again. Starts shaking the boat and tries to make it fall. See this, she is very scared. But she does not fall into the water. Because she had caught a very tight boat. Grace's husband makes a noise in the water. Distracts the crocodile. So that Lee can get out of there. Now it was peaceful here. Because that crocodile had gone from here. Along with that, he had also taken the floating corpse of the guide with him. Seeing this, Grace tells her husband that the crocodile has gone from here. So this is the right time to get Lee out of there. She tells Lee to throw the rope tied to the boat towards us. And when Lee throws that rope, Grace's husband starts pulling it. But the boat was stuck there and was also very heavy. Because of which she was not coming forward. Although they both try together, but still the boat does not come forward. Then Grace encourages Lee to come by herself. Lee was scared, for which she first refuses. But then she gets down in the water in the floating corpse. Climbs on the tree. But because of the crocodile's attack, his leg was injured. Now the 3 start thinking how to get out of here. Grace says we should wait here for a while. Because his boss will definitely come here looking for that guide. So they all stop here and start waiting. Now a lot of time passes, but no one comes here. That crocodile had not gone from here. In fact, he was going around here again and again. Waiting for the 3 to come down and I will climb on them and cook my food. Then Grace's husband says, "Why don't we do this? Go swimming, straighten the boat and go and sit in it. But Grace and Lee found this plan dangerous. Because when these people go into the water, the crocodile will attack them. Now because of the fear, Lee starts screaming for help. Seeing him, Grace also does this and starts screaming. But this whole area was deserted and people used to come here very little. That's why there was no one here to hear their cries. The trouble was not less for them because there were a lot of mosquitoes here, which was bothering them, and they only had one mobile, which was damaged by falling into the water. Now Grace tells a plan here that there are trees here. So why don't we climb on one tree and climb on the other? And by doing this, we will leave this place and reach the other place. We just have to go once and check where the last tree is. Now because her husband's glasses fell into the water, because of which he could not see anything. Lee's leg was injured, so Grace herself goes to check. She climbs from tree to tree and goes ahead. Then it is found that after some trees there is a gap of 100 meters, which they had to cross by swimming, in front of which there were many trees one after the other. But this plan did not seem right, because in the gap of 100 meters, that crocodile could attack them. Even if they try, they cannot escape because he swims very fast. Then, disappointed, Grace starts coming back. She sees the guide's cut ear floating there, seeing which she gets very scared. She comes back and tells them everything. When her husband says that there is no other way, he says to turn the boat and go back. This time he convinces both sisters and himself gets into the water. He swims to the boat, then goes down and puts strength. And he succeeds in turning it somehow. Seeing this, both sisters are very happy. But Grace's husband, who went under the boat, was not there. Seeing which she gets scared. Then suddenly he comes out of the water. Seeing which his life comes to life. But then we see that the crocodile was moving towards him, which suddenly attacks Grace's husband and takes him into the water. Seeing this terrible scene, both start screaming a lot. Then after a while, the crocodile comes out of his mouth, meaning that the crocodile had also killed him. Seeing this, Grace becomes very sad and starts crying. And Lee was also very surprised. After which the crocodile goes away. After this, Lee tells Grace that we are stuck here. We can never get out now, because that crocodile will kill us too. Grace explains to him and says, "Don't lose hope. We can get out of here with the help of that boat." She comes down and pulls the rope of the boat. But she was very far. Then she goes to the other side to get the rope. But the crocodile jumps up again and tries to catch Grace. Seeing this, she gets very scared and comes back to Lee. But the crocodile first looks at them and then goes into the water. After this, Grace becomes very sad and starts crying seeing her husband's body in the water. She was also sorry that I did not tell my husband that we are going to have a baby. Then her sister Lee takes care of her. Then now they get tired and start waiting here. It was night. Southwest, this place looks even more dangerous. The weather was also very bad. But the crocodile also starts roaming around them. After which he starts eating Grace's husband's body. And after hearing all the voices, Grace breaks even more and starts crying. Anyway, the night passes by doing this. The next morning we see that Grace's condition is very bad. She is very sad in deep trauma. Then Lee encourages her to forget what happened. And now think about your child. Don't be sad, save your husband's last memory. Then Grace agrees to her. Now they see that their boat has gone far away from them. So now they had to go to him by swimming. Now they both get into the water and move on. But then the crocodile comes out of the water very close to them. Seeing him so close to them, both of them wake up. They stand there quietly. Then the crocodile also goes into the water. So now when they move on again, the crocodile attacks Grace and grabs her leg. And starts pulling her along. Lee gets very scared and starts crying. In a state of panic, she starts calling Grace. Immediately after which Grace comes out of the water. So Lee quickly pulls her back on the tree. Grace's condition was getting worse, because she had a very deep wound on her leg due to the attack of the crocodile. And a lot of blood is also flowing from her. Then Lee tears her suit and ties it on her leg like a bandage. And tries to stop the blood. Now the blood stops to some extent. But Grace was in a lot of pain. After a while, Lee starts hearing the sound of a boat. To stop her, she goes to the other side and starts screaming for help. But because of the sound of the boat's engine, no one can hear her voice. And the boat is also not able to hear her. Now Lee goes to Grace and ties her legs tighter so that her blood doesn't flow. When the crocodile leaves, Lee tells Grace that he goes to the boat and does something to get out of here. Grace refuses to do this, but if there is no other way, she has to go. She gets into the water very carefully and reaches the boat while swimming. She climbs up and starts removing the water filled in it. After that, she also tries to start the engine. But after hearing this noise, the crocodile comes here again and suddenly climbs into the boat and tries to catch Lee. Lee is very scared and starts jumping into the water to save her life and going towards the tree. But the crocodile catches her, which makes Lee unconscious in the water. As soon as she comes to her senses, she finds herself on the shore. The body of the guide was also on her side. Lee sees that one of her fingers is broken, which she ties with a cloth. And then she checks her stomach, so there were also very deep wounds there. Because the crocodile had caught her from here. She remembers that the guide had also brought a gun with her as a safety, which she starts looking for. Now, when she finds the gun, she first puts it in the water, cleans it, and puts the bullets in it and gets it ready. Then she also shoots a couple of bullets to check, so the gun was going on perfectly. Then she breaks a guard's arm, thinking it to be a big thought, and starts making noise in the water while using it like a bait. So that the crocodile comes here after hearing this noise. She was also ready with the gun and was looking here and there, but the crocodile does not come here. Seeing this, Lee stands up, then we see the crocodile behind him, which was just about to attack him. Now, when Lee feels uncomfortable, she looks behind, so she goes back to the water in fear. Where the crocodile starts following her and then disappears. Lee stops at one place and starts looking for the crocodile. Then he suddenly comes out and holds Lee's hand, which injures him. Now, because his hand was in the crocodile's mouth, he immediately fires a bullet. The bullet hits the crocodile's head and immediately kills him. And Lee's hand was also freed from this. Now, as soon as she sees her body, she goes into the water, which makes Lee very happy. After that, she comes to Grace and happily tells her to open her eyes. I have killed the crocodile and now we can get out of here. Lee tries to pick her up a lot, but she does not get up. Seeing this, Lee becomes sad and starts crying. Actually, Grace also died due to a lot of blood. Lee puts Grace's body in the boat and starts going from there. And as soon as she leaves, this true story ends here.